there's a video diary. Well, how you doing, Mr. Diary? How you doing today? Get it for the real myself. We got both candles lit. Or not both candles, but we got both waxes lit. Got some water. Today's discussion to ourselves is about, well, it says here, Miners Madness in the perspective of World War III with a bioweapon. Now, I ain't much for history, and I ain't much for learning, but I like to hunt history, and I like to learn the things that I'm learning. That could be good, that could be bad. My wife always tells me that I don't know what I'm talking about, so when I try to talk to her, I try to look up things that I'm going to talk to her about so that I know what I'm talking about. And that includes listening to, doctors and psychiatrists and archaeologists and astrologists and pharmacists and blah blah, all of the ists, so that I can be a specialist in one point in time. You know what I mean? And through hunting history, going back through time and watching the evolution of man, the evolution of communication, that you see an evolution in warfare. And it would be naive for me to think that at any point in time that my life is completely and totally safe and secure, But then again, it's not naive. I mean, I feel safe and secure right now. I have my animals, my pets, my dogs, my firearms, my neighbors, my local law enforcement. Some cities and states aren't like that. And it makes you wonder where the problem's stemming from, Is it, and there's multitudes of different things that cause the whole problem. But before I get into that, as I always say, digress, welcome to Miners Madness. This is just my perspective on World War III and why I think it's already started, and how I think it started, and other possibilities that may or may not be out there. And boy, people may share, may not share, but that's okay. This may get censored, may not get censored. That's okay. It's okay, because at least I have a way of sharing my perspective, because it's on a worldly structure. From looking at history and archaeology and geography and whatnot, by learning from different cultures and what's happened from one culture to another culture, the things that were done throughout time and throughout ages. And this is just one of a few books, not many. I don't read a lot, but I mean, I do like to do some sort of research on what I try to talk about. Now, on a personal like little bubble on this whole planet, there's just me. And then outside of that, it's the family. Your kids, your family, your parents, siblings, your neighbors, your friends. Then your schools, your school's friends and stuff like that, growing up, separating, going different places, intermingling and interchanging. Now, along that perspective is you always try to make sure you got food, you make sure you got water, you can breathe, and that you got some type of finance, if you can't do those things, to afford those things. And along comes with that is your security. Now, it's interesting how you see the shift. Hey, Big Rob, thanks for stopping by. And the other 3 or 4 of you, thanks for joining in. You haven't missed much. Just a whole lot of blah blah about blah blah. Just I'm just, you know, learning information on how races and cultures and religions have affected society and wars, and how I believe World War III has already begun. That the ignorance is bliss perspective is true if you're ignorant to it, to think that we are the almighties and protected in this country and nothing's going to affect us, etc., etc. I mean, countries have been warring for land and resources and people for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I mean, that's why you have at least World War I and World War II. And easily you could call this a World War III by a bioweapon of mass destruction when one country, whether allied or not by other countries, and it would be a shame if our country was involved with it, but there is, I would think, a controlled mindset by a few to try to control the mass of the planet. And so to sit there and release a disease that can sit there and wipe out your enemies, unfortunately foreign and domestic, and then release antidotes that would also in turn kill off your enemies as well. I mean, that's a weapon. There's a bioengineered weapon that's been used to commit terror and war on the world, as I see it. That's just plain and simple. So I mean, by that very action happening, whether by mistake, intentional, or should have never happened, which it should have never happened, but who am I? I just learned from other people listening to their BS and stuff, one person's lie is another person's truth, right? And one person's truth could be another person's lie. I don't know. I try to look and delve into different avenues and venues, and it makes it interesting how there's all these talks and all these different things on inner corporations working together: FBI, CIA, NSA, NASA. The list goes on. I mean, every secret agency. Oh my God. So yeah, when one country releases a disease like that and it's affecting other countries, it's an act of war. And for our country to sit there and ignore that, becoming ignorance is bliss, and saying, oh, it's just a disease that had come out via whatever, maybe mistake, I think is ignorant. And when countries have fought other countries, they would sit there and try to find the best means possible to do the most harm by staying, the furthest away from the battlefield. And what better way than by a release of a disease to do that? So that's just the beginning of, a physical conflict in the world. Hi, peoples. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just on a train of thought that has already left the station. There was no ringing of the bell or nothing. It was just, I'm just kind of just going into it because I know it's probably a hard, touchy subject for people. But people, please throw in your comments on what you think. I mean, it's basically, do you think World War III started? Yes or no? Do you think World War III will start? Yes or no? And I'm just explaining to my perspective on why I think it has already started or has been going on ever since the end of World War II. And I say that, why I think is World War III has been going ever since the end of World War II is every society, and so I'm sure you guys have played Risk as young boys and girls, and if not, look it up, check it out, and take a look at what's going on a political global scale with countries and societies, and how they got all these little places that are marked. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what is going on a global scale. But the thing with Risk is you have ground to ground movements. There's no space that's being used in above that. You know, there was no Air Force in Risk. There was no satellites in Risk. You know what I mean? Which begs to question the differ for today's society with our advancements in technologies and our the advancements in our infrastructure, or supposedly advancements in our infrastructure, the advancements in our telecommunications, that somehow not one but several of a enemy's apparatuses or tools or equipment of either civilian or non-civilian uh, material of any type would be flying above our country unnoticed and going unharmed, collecting valuable data. And it goes to a point of when I sit there and say that TikTok is a national security risk. It's a national security risk. That thing is collecting people's biometrics in their retinas, or their fingerprints or whatever, you know, their passwords and stuff. It's collecting that information without the user's knowledge about it. I mean, they're building a digital world that has already been created. If you ever get a chance, look up Nirvana. It's a, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a software program designed in a server. Check it out, Nirvana on Wicca. I do a lot of wiki stuff, so you know, internet don't lie to me, right? But I do try to trust my eyes every now and then. And if they're ever open, poor Kiwi just always giving me allergies that it just makes it. So here's the thing is, I don't have to have my eyelids like this just to see what's going on in the world around me, because the only thing I need to concentrate, because it's hard to, I only need to concentrate on this little piece right here and this little piece right here. That's it. You know what I mean? I got plenty of light coming in. I got plenty of ambience that I want to see, that I care about. It works for me. You know what I mean? So just because it may seem like I don't see a lot, I see a lot. Spatial awareness is an amazing thing. But anywho, as this train keeps rolling, is the advancements in communication, telecommunication, and the digital communication world has made it where, like I say, if you watch movies or books, they're either of stuff that have happened, or they're ideas in people's heads that they write down, and then those things kind of happen. I mean, if you listen to some of the things that are going on and talking about in our government system, I guess, by our representatives and committees and whatever else they do up there on the D.C. area of Washington, it's just interesting how we are so advanced than our enemies, but yet their enemies of ours can sit there and have these balloons coming in. You know, it's just like, it makes you wonder how many submarines are floating around. So, the digital world being created around you. Think about your Google Home, your Alexa, your Siri. All these things are recording your voice as you're saying things, creating algorithms and methods that are mapping who you are. And you got all these digital devices that have cameras on them. I mean, come on, is there not a camera almost in every room? I mean, it's just ridiculous. People's personal safety inside, outside their homes. Shopping malls, banks, you know, storage warehouses, cameras everywhere. You know, pretty soon, I mean, I'm surprised that there ain't a camera at every street light and lamppost in America. But, I mean, that's a lot of footage to sit there and be watching and going through, but you never know. And to think that there's satellites that we have designed that are floating up there in space, and we know that other foreign countries have also designed such devices, even to the point of which would destroy other such devices, is alone the things that they're doing in advancements into the space industry to protect space is again, how do they miss this stuff? You can't tell me it's not unintentional. The things that this country has accidentally fell into through history. And I say accidentally fell into because if you look at the bigger picture, the bigger scheme of how I mean, I'm talking, you're talking like Troy and Hercules. You're talking about all these great places in the Middle East and Eastern world that have all these battles, crusades, just battles, the Persians, the Spartans, all these wars that are just going on, just wars. And what are they doing? The winners wiping out the history of the losers. And that's just the way of the game, man, because we don't want anybody to think that you could have beat us or that you had other valuable information to share. You know, we're just going to keep what we want and, you know, sorry. Throughout the ages, that's what they have done. And so, it's just the fleeing of the Templars, you know, the gain of control from the development of ways and manners in which to try to control the masses of people. I mean, people are hungry. They'll do anything for food. You know, people are thirsty. They'll do anything for water. If their bellies are full and their minds are empty, then they'll do anything for knowledge, I would think would be the next part of it, you know? And so that's where knowledge becomes power. And if you can control by erasing history, by controlling and power, conquering nations, then that knowledge and power comes from the conqueror. Now, has Anunnaki come down and conquered us? I mean, Atlanteans, did they conquer? Did Zeus and the gods come down and conquer us? You know, I mean, there's battles down here on Earth, and there's battles up there in the skies, battles in between. I mean, I could be wrong, but I hear a lot of different, you know, spiritual and religious beliefs in groups and stuff like that. And it's like, there's always a battle at some point in time, you know what I mean? And, you know, I just... So, I guess what I was going on with was nothing. But, then you bring in a physical aspect of this World War III that, you know, I believe has started already because of the release of the diseases. You have the conflict, and there's conflicts going on in all these other places, but the major one that is going on is the Ukraine and Russian war. Now, that's as they would say, a kinetic conflict. Using, you know, guns, people, cannons, tanks, aircraft, etc. So, again, if you go before the war of Ukraine even starting, before the release of a biological weapon to the world, there was a war of cybersecurity that has been going on for years and centuries, from China trying to sit there and infiltrate our technologies and our methods of education and learning, etc., blah, blah, blah. So, again, when I say ignorance is bliss, it's like people, I don't know, people forget that or they don't know about it, but it's, yeah, that stuff happens. I mean, uh, yeah, it happens. They're trying to take your intellectual information and use it against us, you know? Self-implosion is one of the best implosions you can have against your enemy. And if you can sit there and have your enemies war over words versus bodies, or disease, then, you're going to make countries fall. And that's why I say it's when you control the flow of information and what may or may not be true, what may or may not be mis or disinformation, or false or right or wrong, or negative or positive. Man, you have a gut, you have eyes, and you have senses and stuff like that. Get out there in the world and start walking around and talking to people. That's one of the best ways to figure out what's going on in this world. And yeah, everybody's got opinions, just like everybody's got a butthole. It's just the way it works. Well, no, some people may not have buttholes. They got colostomy bags, so sorry for them colostomy bag peoples. But, so, yeah. Now you're going to Ukraine and Russia, and they're conflicting. But on the other side of that conflict there's hands that are being reached out and stuff. And another country that is receiving offensive tactical weapons to use, not just against their enemy, or to create terror in other countries by using weapons to destroy not just the military but the civilian side from foreign countries. I mean, that's involving more than one country. I could be wrong in that, but whether a person gets on the ground, it's still that country is involved via whether they send a screw over or something. You know what I mean? Likewise, for defensive weapons, if a country is reaching out for defensive weapons from the NATO unions and stuff like that, I mean, technically, that's help. Now, whether a person goes over or not and shoots a gun at the enemy, that don't matter. That's still defensive tools and equipment to defend not just one country, but an evil against an evil, which is that of war and battle. I mean, and it can be easily stopped. I mean, in my opinion, if my thoughts and theories are ever correct, which they never are, then through time and space, people or other civilizations have evolved faster by not just tens or thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, or 100 millions of years, billions of years of technologically advanced civilizations or entities or entities, whatever. So yeah, the whole thing about World War III being on and whatnot, yeah, to me, I think it's there. I think, and it's a bigger scope, and it's just like Risk, the game of Risk. It all depends on how you look at it. Countries helping other countries to defend, while other countries help other countries be offensive. It just, I don't understand why they don't call what it is what it is. Why are they beating around the bush and prolonging what could easily be prevented or stopped. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all unless it's to control, to create death, to reduce the population, uh, in a means of population control, and to make money off of it by prolonging the tools and resources needed to uh, enhance the defensive into a offensive to reacquire one's own country's uh, territories. Or, as I like to think, if I was president, I'd sit there and just engulf them all. Just engulf them all. Starting with our own country, like South America and Central America. Everybody's coming to America. Why? Because we got the greatest rules and regulations. Okay, well, guess what? Our border now extends all the way down to South America. How do you like that? So, police and military, work your way in, start flushing out not just all the drugs and crimes and cartels, man. Just the trash needs to go if you want your city to grow, if you know what I mean. And you don't even have to kill them. Just throw them on an island. Just buy an island, throw them on an island, and be like, there you guys go. If you peoples want to live like animals, here's an island that you can go live like animals. Matter of fact, I know a good island down there in the, I want to say down by the Philippines, but it's not. It's the Flores Islands with the little hobbit people. Let them go down there and spend some time down there. I bet you they come back more civilized, way more civilized. But that's just a thought. You know what I mean? I mean, here's another problem solver. This country is. People want to feel safe. They want to know they got some food coming in. They want to know they got clean water. They got clean air to breathe. And that they got a little scratch so that they can do stuff with their life and not be ends meet. You know what I mean? You look at half of these homeless veterans. Why did they sit there and close down half of these military bases instead of re-renovating them for the homeless people so that they still could have self-sustaining communities in such a manner that they were, I would almost say, institutionalized to, in a sense, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe they just totally don't like it or whatever. But still, I mean, why not? I mean, obviously, if I'm not mistaken, they're opening up some of these military bases, and I could be wrong. That's why I had on there like a fact check me or something, but I could be wrong that they're housing some illegal immigrants into some of the military bases. So, and so this brings it down to like a triangle, you know, but you kind of flip it over. The president is like your mother and your father, and overseer of your entire country to make sure that its civilians and its population is well taken care of and well sustained, self-sufficient, well protected, and well guarded. And what I've seen lately, especially the last couple years, I have seen the society that is America be copied and be infiltrated by its enemies, and yet the people who are supposed to be watching over everybody are more concerned about words and feelings and how they're going to sit there and root out the evil of whatever they disagree with, or they don't agree with the opinions or thoughts of others, so they'll root them out and call them this, that, or the other, versus looking at a mirror and try to protect the Americans from the people that are coming in here that seek to do us legitimate harm in a more immediate way than which those government entities that are supposed to be protecting us, FBI, CIA, all of them government, federal, whoozy doozies up people up top. So, yeah, I just think, and again, it goes with the war of words that, our country is under that false sense of security that we have no kinetic conflict. We're not shooting bullets anywhere, so now we have to shoot words and laws at people and suing everybody for this and that, and it's, for me, it's hard to see, because literally when shit hits the fan, it's gonna be the people that believed in their God-given right to protect themselves and their family and their country, that are going to be here fighting for it. And the ones that are sitting there trying to tear this country down are going to be the ones asking those people for help and what to do. And it should be the other way around. They should be leading us in a positive direction. Apparently there's more than one party in this whole political scheme. I mean, there's independents or non-whatevers, Democrat, Republicans. Both sides, all sides, 3 sides, 4 sides, they got good and bad. It shouldn't be that hard to take the good out of both and make it work for the whole, versus sitting there bickering back and forth on, okay, well, we're not going to do it because you don't want to put this one in or pull this out or this or that. And it's like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. So you run as a president, you run to protect your country, you run to protect people's families, and you run to protect people's rights. I mean, those are 3 fundamental, easy things that you can do to run as president and win a race. That's just my opinion. And then you can get us out of this World War III that we're in. Oh, but why do you say we're in a World War III? Well, that's because there's a weapon of mass destruction, biological weapon of mass destruction that was released upon the world, that hit not just one country, but multiple countries. And that there is a world war. Oh, I'm just saying, though, They don't say it, though. How come you don't read it on any newspaper, any headlines, anywhere? Look it up. I bet you don't see anything about it. Because why? They're hiding it. Here's the thing, like the whole telescope thing. They sit there and can see stars way out there so clear, but yet they can't tell bank robbers from bank robbers, you know what I mean? They need to update all that stuff and make it all good. Then everything would be easier to understand. Uh-oh. Yeah, John, you got a question? Is that what that means? So, I guess I could, look at the chat and see what y'all been chatting about. But yeah, that was just my perspective on how I think, we're already in a world war, in that Ukraine and Russia is just the kinetic part of it. Taiwan and China will be a kinetic part of it. Afghanistan was a kinetic part of it. The viral disease released was a biohazard part of it. The I would even say the vaccine, but you can call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, because I will conspiracize with whoever listens. I mean, it's just my thoughts and opinions, and I shouldn't be censored or scrubbed out because of it. You know what I mean? Oh, see, it's got me all timed out and stuff on here. They're trying to block me. China's trying to listen in and block me already. I'm getting up there. Yeah, question everything, because if you don't, then how do you know which one's the right answer or a better answer, and which one's not as good of an answer or the worst answer? Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. I mean, seriously, there is. Some of them's not pretty at all. You know what I mean? But, and then alongside of that, the countries that have been losing, they've been trying to figure out how to win against other countries. So to sit there and go with the digital and information warfare that has been going on. I mean, come on. Countries have been doing that. They just don't want to use the word World War III because they make it seem like it's a diabolical end of the world situation. It's like, people, we've been living in it for a while. Some countries are way worse off than America is. And I feel very lucky and blessed to be an American and live in America. That's just me, you know. I feel sorry for what's going on outside of our country. But if other countries are thinking that we're so great, then why not buy them up? You know what I mean? And then go in there and fix their problems and match them. Well, don't match their problems with our problems. Hopefully wipe out our bad problems in our country, as long as we move down there and helping them out. I mean, that's part of one of the things that's a war in our country that's going on, is a chemical war that has been going on for years, with all the lack of better word, fentanyl and other substances, synthetic substances and drugs that have been coming into our country from other countries. That's a chemical warfare that has been going on. This is not just a big pharma thing that's happening in America with prescribed opioids. It's a chemical warfare from other countries. So the war has been going on with America for, like I said, since the end of World War II. World War III started right after that, the next day. Why? Because everybody now wants to take out America. People just didn't understand it or see it. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I see it. I could be wrong. But if America is so great, then why doesn't America absolve or resolve or however consume them other countries and make one big nation across the entire thing, or whatever they want to do? You know what I mean? Maybe that's their entire plan and goal, but they're going about it all wrong. If that's what they're creating more chaos to make themselves look like they're the helping hand that's creating the chaos. It's like, no wonder why sometimes animals bite the hand that feed them, is because the hand that feed them is just not a good hand to be feeding them. Then that hand becomes food, right? Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to look at chat. I got all sidetracked. But yeah, let me look at chat. Go ahead and, I mean, nobody's like really in here, but I mean, yes, no, does that seem possible that, yeah, it makes sense if you look at the chemical warfare, the digital warfare, the technological warfare, the information warfare, you know, the kinetic warfares. I mean, these things have been going on. You would have to agree to and say, yes, since there's more countries involved and all these things, that yes, it makes sense that there is a World War III going on. If you agree with that, hit 1, because I'm interested if anybody agrees. And if not, spit out there with it too, and why you disagree. You know what I mean? Some countries, they didn't even know disease was their helping hand to conquering. I mean, just like the Spanish, when they came over, they didn't realize that what they brought over with them with disease, helping to eliminate the local population, they enhanced, used that, and took advantage of it. You know what I mean? Nobody's. Who said nobody's? I didn't say nobody's. No nobody's. Y'all are everybody's. I love y'all's, regardless. No, I'm. When did I say nobody? All right. Well, if I said nobody, then I was probably talking to myself, because I got nobody right here talking to myself. Let's see if I go through chat. Let's see. So thank you guys for stopping by and listening on to my perspective. You know, and it's interesting, and I'm just small chatting now as I'm looking. But thanks, Trusted, Rob, Tim, John. There's probably a few other people in here that have sat there and make. Yeah, it is precious. What is precious? Happy to do it. Being alive is a precious thing. Every breath we take is a precious thing. How we supposed to be? Oh, this looks interesting. I found a place that there's tons of Humvees that were supposed to be in Ukraine, but the workers were told to put them hidden in an area so public couldn't see them. Maybe the Ukraine. I know I'll show, huh? That would see. That's what's you control even that. Think about it. I bet you they sit there and they're blaming like flights and weather and the seaway for the delay and delivery of munitions and heavy munitions. Had and simple, had NATO been automatically signed Ukraine to be a part of NATO, Russia would not have attacked Ukraine. It's that simple, plain and simple. And if I'm wrong in that, then I'm wrong in that, but it should never happen. And then here's the other thing is if they're supplying them with anything to defend themselves, they should supply them with any means possibly necessary to end the war as soon as possible, not to prolong it as possible. I mean, it's just, but it's a money thing, you know? What is that? Warlord? That's a good movie. Who's in that? That's Nicolas Cage, the Warlord. Which is, I like that movie. No, I mean, so nobody's in scabs. Scabs are for nobodies. I don't know. Nobody likes scabs. Some people like scabs. I don't know. I got my scab jacket right here behind me. But yeah, yeah, I noticed nobody had wanted to take a look at that map that Shiloh signed and that I won from that World Series of poker. So it's rolled up in the house now. I was all excited, waiting for people to be like, "Yeah, let's see the map." Pull out the map, and it was like, "Okay, nobody went. All right, I guess it'll stay rolled up." You know, but it was interesting. You know, the home part and then the signature. It's just the signature on a place. I don't think there's anything to it or not. But if Shiloh ever wants to reach out to me, he knows how to get a hold of me. If not, he knows how to get a hold of people who know me. That's all up to him. I wouldn't mind listening to why he put his signature where he put it. It'd be interesting. I didn't call you guys nobody. The real fan would always sign it for you. But yeah. And like I said, it makes you wonder where like which levels. So you got like the very grunt peoples, then you got the people who are doing some of the things that's in between, then you got the higher ups, and then you got the even higher ups, and then you got like all them really smart intellectual people that are doing all kinds of crazy things, making inventions and finding out all these things that are helping humanity, but yet they're controlling it so that they don't allow it to help humanity, making humanity worse is just, I don't get it, And especially, and this is what brings up another interesting point is UFOs and aliens. I mean, who don't like to talk about UFOs and aliens? And I'm wondering at what point will we see more of them now because of what's going on in the world around us on a universal whole, seeing how things seem to be getting worse and worse with some of these people who, in my mind, don't know what they're doing. But I mean, yeah, it's interesting. What are they gonna do? I mean, you got North Korea that's sitting there always testing their missiles. They're probably gonna hit South Korea when China hits Taiwan. Well, we got half of our inventory or less probably sitting around. I don't know for a fact or not, but I mean, to sit there, I've seen supposedly the amount of armament, not to let alone the amount of ammunition, armaments, and weapons, etc. that was left over in Afghanistan. I've never seen a more incompetent move in a commander-in-chief than to uh, to okay. Let me put it this way: if he wants to sit there and say, "Well, we had a deadline to leave Afghanistan, and you're the president of the United States, the man, the leader of the free world, and you're letting your rules and laws to be dictated by other countries and such like that, then no, you're not a ruler of the free world. No, you just hightailed and gave our stuff that our men and women died for, and are now have created a worse problem for the future, not just abroad but at home with the military alone and the terrorists that you left our stuff with. I mean, this I don't understand. I mean, there's a word that was thrown out there quite a few times a few years ago called impeachment. And that was just over a damn phone call. Now, over a phone call versus leaving valuable, highly technical, and sensitive information and materials into the hands of your enemy, and you're telling me you ain't getting impeached for that? There's a double standard going on somewhere, and I'd like to know where that is so I can find that switch and flip it myself. Boom, 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 boom. Anytime I got a problem, I flip the switch. Double standard in it. It's crazy. I'm telling you. It's almost by design, you would think. You would think almost by design. Because all he had to do was sit there and say, I'm sorry. I cannot honor this agreement at this point in time. Because I have to make sure that all of my civilians have left this country first. Then I have to make sure that all of my equipment is near left this country first. And then I will pull out my military after that, and then you may have whatever's left over. Not hightail and run with people, humans, hanging off your aircraft, trying to escape. That was a ridiculous thing. So you can't tell me that this world isn't already in a World War III. It's just all around us. I think we just try to ignore it or hope that it's not happening, or just don't have the age. We're not at an age yet to realize it. I don't know. But it's just crazy things, and it's just something I've been watching from just prospecting and hunting history, and just watching societies rise and fall, and how they were rising and falling, and what made, heroes and villains stand out, you know what I mean? And it's a crazy thing out there, this world we live in. And it's just this place here that's just one of many. It's ridiculous. But I think that was all I had to say for this perspective, It was just to get it out there, because I think it's right on the money. You look at your big tech, your government, cahoodlings together, shaking foots and playing footsies is, double standards out there. But I love my service members. I love my law enforcements, our health care. And I just wish there were better leaders in better positions doing better things than what we're seeing going on in our country that's destroying it. So I hope to see some change. If not, somebody has to run for president with some easy goals and make those goals easy and obtainable and do them like that. You know what I mean? Executive order that stuff. Come on. You got the power of the pen, so that we don't have to use the power of a weapon or death. Make things easier for everybody instead of harder. But, yep, I think that's the end of that train ride. So, the rest of you that are dwindling out, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. And we will see y'all next Monday, I guess, for that drawing for that Hope Chest book. So, good luck on everybody. Especially those first 3 or 4 people who were the first commenters. Now they all got competition. And then it's like, who says you can't tell? Who says you can't make up the future? And I predicted what was going to happen, and it happened. So I feel very proud of myself. And so it begs the difference when people sit there and say, well, you can't get 114,000 comments or individualized comments on a video. Then, well, for them, I hope I do by my last breath. Otherwise, it'd be kind of hard to click that button. You know what I mean? But one story at a time, one thing at a time, and yeah, White pointed out a few things to me. I gotta rein in the storms a little bit. But anyhow, access along the train tracks. There's a lot of access to the train tracks. You know that, right? There's crossing guards going down, digression trains, and just because I say goodbye doesn't mean I'm really going by. The only time I really go by is when that thing goes click, and then I start saying thank you on the chat for stopping by. Because there's always like something left over. I mean, like them coins and stuff. Yeah, that's another story. It's like they fought and warred over finances or over people, you know. And they're still doing it today and stuff. Other countries are trying to take other countries over so that they can grow food and farm and stuff. And it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. They're buying up our farmland too. It's crazy. Next thing you know, it makes you wonder what they're going to genetically modify our food to be. If you don't think they're not doing that, they're genetically modifying food to grow in unsustainable areas with what stuff they can be sustained with in the area. It's crazy stuff to look up and read and research. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna close this shop down and call it good for tonight, man. Because it's a drag subject. I understand, but it's my opinion, and it is what it is, you know. And it makes sense to me, and hopefully it makes sense to other people, because you can't be too safe anymore in today's day and age, especially the way with everything's changing. And I mean, it's changing in more ways than one. I mean, more people are becoming more digitalized, so to speak. You got the older group that's more hardcore, still here in the flesh. You got people that are like in the mix, in between. They don't know which way to go. And it's like, man, you got these other countries that have been like, I'm gonna go after that big dog one of these days, and we're gonna get it. So when they sit there and they've mapped out, and I see this, I can see like a table over in China, like this big table, and it has this 3D globe, and they can sit there and rotate it, and they can sit there and zoom in and get like everybody's houses. They'll have dots all over it, show you where all the silos are, all the military bases are, where all the airports are, where all the train depots are across the U.S., and they'll strategically hit all those major points. That's the art of war, man. They've been surveilling our country and redesigning our country from all the digital technology we've been using and providing for the world. All them security cameras, phones, cell phones, selfies, TikToks, Instagrams, tweets, you know, Snapchat, this, that, the other thing. It's out there. That digital universe has been being created since what? They created... When did they create that program? Oh, I don't see it on there. But yeah, that program I mentioned earlier. Because you got like Deep Space Industries, Planetary Resources, Twitter came out around there. Netflix, Amazon, eBay came around in 89s, late 90s. Linus Rim, Apple, Brain Digital started in 1970s, Virtual Reality 1968. And so DARPA and Neuro Prosthetics in 1957, 37. But I want to say Nirvana. Look up Nirvana, a software program on Wikipedia. And then tell me what you think about that next time you see me in chat. on whether or not now that movie GoldenEye, what's that young kid's name, and the voice of what's her face, and yeah, I mean, and then now they're talking about, oh my god, and this is what I say about movies and stuff. Now they want to sit there and build a Skynet. They literally want to do the movie Terminator in our society and build like a Skynet of some sort. Which, I mean, it makes sense, you know what I mean? So everything's communicating well and this and that, but you got other foreign agencies that have the same stuff that they've been stealing from us, that they're gonna sit there and interrupt our crap and make it all attack our own stuff. It's ridiculous. It's beauty that was started 10, 12 years ago. What was the beauty that was started 10, 12 years ago? And Juliet, so I have found it. The cabin isn't finished, so that might take all summer. Oh, so we're building a cabin? I hope it looks nice. But, yeah. It's crazy out there, I tell you what. And the digital world is just going to make it even, and when I say digital world, the digital era, it's a brain chip interface. Chips inside your hands or some sort, just so you can pay by swiping your hand over the thing now. You know what I mean? Read your retina. Pay for your stuff that way. These companies out there, they're going to feed off of these and get it and build it and use it. Then you got the movie Minority Report. All these things kind of tied up in one. So those are a few good movies to watch, like, in a row, in a sense. And it ties up with, like, yeah, stuff I've been saying. 70 acres. Oh, you bought 70 acres and a cabin in western Colorado. Have you gone and metal detected that that property and that acres and stuff? And if you need somebody to go, just let me know. I could try to figure out how far Colorado is. I talked to the wife and see if I can't get in trouble and she kicked me out. 70 acres is a nice spot of property to metal detect. I mean, you got a lot of history that goes through all along the mountain ranges and stuff. So it'd be interesting. But at the very least, you should go and do some metal detecting on there. Yeah, just let me know. If, like I said, if you need somebody to carry that around, I always invite myself to all kinds of things, and people may or may not know that, but yeah, I mean, try to put myself out there in a sense, but I don't try to put myself out there in a sense. So it's one of those things. But I mean, I got this whole thing that I'm looking at right here in front of me that's got a whole bunch of stuff that I metal detected, Stuff behind me is stuff that I've metal detected. Well, not on this portion of the shelf, but on the next portion of the shelf. Down there. There's a lot of stuff. So, one of the things about metal detecting is becoming a lead farmer. You find a lot of lead out there in the world, and I've actually have found, like, where they at. Oh, I should not be twisted like that. Yeah, definitely not twisted like that. Now I gotta rotate slowly. Yeah, yesterday I got up off the futon and my back ended up seizing bad enough that it dropped me back to my knees and stuff. And it was like, oh. I'm all talking to a lady, Mary, or Boomer Girl, from poker and stuff. Function at Junction. I'm all looking at the ceiling, taking a picture, moaning and groaning because I can't breathe. It hurts to breathe. And it's like, oh my Lanta, I'm going to be here for like a half hour or so. It was no bueno. No good. Oh, that's what I was saying, but yeah. Me and Kiwi like to go out metal detecting, hunting history, chasing time. and like spending time out in nature. It's very rewarding and fulfilling for us. Because who knows how long we got, you know what I mean? Especially with the way this world's going. It's going crazy. It's going crazy. I can't be living underneath no false sense of something. So, what in your garden? If you do cultivate that garden, it's a friend of mine. He was like digging in a few inches. He found this nice long point of some sort. Right where he's planting a small little tree or something. It was pretty cool. Then we found a couple small arrowheads where we were dredging there. But we're working on some older stuff this year. Hopefully it's an easier year than the past years, but we'll see. So what I like about dredging is and having everything all pre-screened and everything. You don't have it's not a lot of work at all. I get the easy job of just getting in the water. That's it. No more hard days. No more hard days. Not finding anything, but hey, the little bits of gold that we do find is worth it though. Oh. Oh yeah, you need that kind of good stuff. Don't forget to look underneath them too every now and then. Get the good stuff that grows from the manure. I'm just saying, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Hunting history, that's what we like. Part of hunting history, learning about different wars and conflicts and how they started and dissipated. How history has been lost, repeated, erased, by destruction and control of people and property and land and resources. And so yeah, I truly believe that we've been in a World War III situation for a long time, and hopefully somehow we'll be saved by the aliens, or if not by ourselves, by getting our heads out of our asses and figuring out what to do so that everybody can start having a cohesive unit in their homes, their schools, their towns, their communities, their states, their countries, all across the board, so everybody can be all happy and hunky-dory, right? If not, some crazy stuff's about to happen. It'd be crazy to see what happens. Hopefully not. Hope for the best, because that's what we like to do. And we know everything will work out just fine. Hopefully some people aren't as crazy as they talk out there in the world. You know what I mean? So cherish every moment that you have with the people that you know and you love, and make every breath count. Because, part of, if you think about it, that disease messing with your respiratory, that's messing with your breathing. You can't breathe, you're going to die. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. It makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Anyway, looks like this train's about to hit this bridge that is definitely not completed. And that bridge is coming up fast, so y'all better start jumping off this train before you end up going into the drink. And if you go into the drink, I will try to save you, but I can't promise you anything because it's not like I know how to swim anyhow. I'm afraid of the water and I'm afraid of the ocean. But I mean, I'll go out there on the ocean. Went out there and go, whale watching. Oh yeah, that bridge is coming up fast. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out even longer than you're supposed to, because I chit chat longer than I'm supposed to. And yep, I'll try to figure out what the next one will be. But until then, we'll just hang out with that Hope Chest giveaway book thingy. And go from there, I guess. Trying to figure out what to do with more of these minor madnesses, if anything. Maybe not. Who knows? Still haven't gotten any good positive or negative feedback or any feedback at all, so I don't know. We'll just see. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. But anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe, stay calm, and keep treasuring on. Mhm.